Hi everyone, I hope everyone's doing great. Welcome to Midrashic Mysteries, and looking forward to continue meeting every Monday and Thursday going forward. This week we're going to begin with Parshat Lecha, but before we jump into a Midrash from Parshat Lecha, I just want to give you just a word of why I chose this topic and why I think hopefully it should be exciting for all of us as we go forward in studying this. I love learning Midrashim, not because they have stories that are so out there and they make they kind of pique our interest. But it's because those stories, which are so fantastical sometimes and told with such, with language that is so poetic and oftentimes difficult to understand, because it actually helps us understand something about the text that is missing. Midrash is so keen on picking up on what is missing or odd in a text. And I think when we can unpack that mystery of what's going on with the language of the Midrash, what's this image all about, it actually gives us a deep understanding of something from that week's Parsha. So with that, I want to jump into something from Parshat Lecha, this coming week's Parsha. And there's something that is missing. It's missing from the beginning of the Parsha. And as we know very little, in fact, we know pretty much nothing about Avraham's life up until the point when God comes to him and says, Lech Lecha, go from your homeland, go to Eretz Yisrael, I have a mission for you. We know nothing. Why did God choose him is a question that should bother us. Why did God choose him? How did Avraham find God? How did God find Avraham? We don't know. And so the Midrash is bothered by this big missing piece of Avraham's life, which you think would be so important for us to know. I mean, we look up to Avraham. Wouldn't you want to know how he earned that trust from God? So the Midrash says, this is Reshit Rabbah, Lamed Tet, paragraph Vav, paragraph 6. Begins by saying, Rabbi Azariah, in the name of Rabbi Acha Patach, he opened this section of Midrash by quoting a pasuk from Tehillim, chapter 45. Ahavta tzedek v'tisna resha al kein mishachachar Elokim Elokecha shemen sason mechaverecha. Quotes the pasuk, you love righteousness and you hate wickedness. Rightly has God, your God, chosen to anoint you with oil of gladness over all of your peers. Rabbi Azariah uses this pasuk to sort of jump into the discussion. And Rabbi Azariah, Patar Kiraya Avraham, he solves the riddle of what was David HaMelech talking about in this pasuk in Tehillim, and he says he was talking about Avraham. This idea of loving righteousness, hating evil, and that's why God has chosen you from among all of your friends and anointed you amongst all of your friends. And Rabbi Azariah continues and says, Bisha she'amar Avraham Avinu levakesh rachem al hasidomim. Why did God trust Avraham? Why did he pick Avraham? Why did he choose Avraham? Well, the Torah, the Midrash looks forward in the Torah and says, let's try to learn something from Avraham's character. What makes Avraham who he is? What personality traits did he already have that probably he then possessed beforehand? So we know a little bit from the story when God is ready to destroy the city of Sodom, the evil city of Sodom, and Avraham puts up a fight with God. And Avraham goes to God and he asks for mercy for the people of Sodom. Maktiv Tamam, what does it say in that story? That it would be terrible, Chalilacha, God, that you would destroy the evil with the righteous people along with the wicked? That's not right. And Rabbi Acha continues, Amar Rabbi Acha nishbata ve'amarta. It's as if the conversation went as such. Avram turns to God. He didn't just put up a little fight. He put up a really big fight against God. And he had some chutzpah too. What did he say? Nishbata ve'amarta she'en ata mevi mabul ha'olam. You promised us, God. You took an oath. That rainbow in the sky. You're never going to bring a flood again ever in this world. You're never going to destroy the world in that way again. Umata ma'arima ha'shvua. Now, what are you doing? Were you tricking us when you made that oath? Et maha. It's puzzling. Mabul shamayim en ata mevi. What were you simply promising? You'll never bring a flood of water ever again. But Mabul Eish Atamevi, but a flood of fire, as it were, a different kind of Mabul, a different kind of destruction, that you're okay with? That wasn't included in your shvuah, in your oath? It's a little bit of chutzpah to say that to God. If that's your attitude, God, I'm just telling you, straight out, flat out, you're violating your oath. Amar Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Levi then continued this discussion, and he analyzes further the psukim there. Avraham says to God, "Hashofet kol aretz lo yaseh mishpat." The judge of all the world won't allow for justice, for fair justice to emerge from this situation. Furthermore, if the world is something that you want the world to exist, God, well, let me let you in on a secret. It will not be perfect justice out there. It's just the way of the world. Nobody is perfect. It will not be a perfect world in that sense. All the laws won't be followed perfectly, even if they try. If what you really seek for, God, is perfect, law-abiding citizens in this world. So that's what you want. So ain't olam. There will be no world because God will destroy it. You're pulling on two ends of a rope. You want to have your cake and eat it too. You want people to be perfect, but you also want perfect justice. At boya alma ubaya dina. You want both of these. Let me give you a piece of advice, God. Avraham says to him, Savla chadaminahu. Choose one. You can't have your cake and eat it too. V'im leit at mivater tzivchar. If you're not going to be willing to give a little and be willing to understand that not everyone is 100% perfect, leit alma yachol kaim. The world will not exist. I'm telling you that straight out, God. So after getting spoken to by Avraham like this, you would think maybe God would be very upset. But what's God's response in the Midrash? Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Avraham. God says, Avraham, ahavta tzedek v'tisna resha. He quotes from the pasuk from Tehillim that we started with. You love righteousness and you hate the ways of wickedness. And that's why I chose you from all of your friends. Mahu machaberecha. What does it mean? I chose you from all your friends. Minoach va'ad etzlecha. From Noach until you came along. There were 10 generations. Asara darot. Umikulam lo dibarti im echad mehem ela imach. And no one I spoke to until you came along. You're different, Avraham. And the Midrash is trying to teach us here. Why was Avraham chosen? Because he possessed a few amazing qualities. They didn't just grow overnight suddenly. The Midrash is saying this is what he had from the beginning. Before God said Lecha, he was somebody who looked at the world and was not okay. He was not okay with fairness being thrown out the window. He wasn't okay with that. How could you kill righteous people with wicked people? It's not okay, God. That's not okay. And he's willing to stand up to anybody and everybody, including God. That is somebody who this world needs to be the representative of what God stands for, of all the good that God wants to infuse into this world. Avraham is the person that stood for that. That's why he was chosen. Not because he was the most learned, he knew, Gemara backwards and forwards. It's because he cared for what was fair. And if it was hard to stand up to somebody, it didn't matter. He would stand up for it. Even to God. And furthermore, he also was able to explain to God in this Midrash, God, not everyone's going to be perfect. You have to have a little bit of give in this world. You have to be understanding. And a really solid leader is someone who is understanding of others, who understands that no one can be perfect, and understands that that doesn't mean they're not amazing for who they are. I hope this helps us understand a little bit about why Avraham was chosen. I wish you a great Monday. I'll see you on Thursday.